Good morning everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a little bit of everything. We'll get to the rose in a moment. Now you'll be watching this video on Thursday, so we will know the prompt, but I'm filming it, what's today? Monday. So I don't know the prompt and I'm dying to know the prompt, but I'll have to wait. But by the time you guys watch this, we'll be all starting to scramble and think about what we're going to do for the next addition to our pieces. So I thought before I get into the rose, I just wanted to quickly review this little transition of colour, because I'm pretty sure you haven't seen an update on it, because I've just been doing some general stitching on it. Remember I said that I felt like this piece was getting left behind a little and didn't have any, depth to it. It was just prompt gone. And that's probably what, 2 hours work, an hour per video. So, and sometimes the last couple times it was just an hour. So I decided to just put it by my chair, and this is what I've been doing. So I thought I'd just show you that little piece got added. I think I picked it up at the end of a video and thought, oh, I know where that needs to go. And that was the piece. I stitched into here a little birdhouse. I'll bring it right up to the camera, just with some satin stitch, kept it simple, couched the little post and the little stand that the birdhouse sits on. I did a little running stitch around first and then laid my satin stitch within that running stitch. The roof, I just kept coming back to that point. Used the two different colours and then just created a bit of a foliage treatment down the bottom. So some little straight stitches with the bead on top, some little straight stitches with a little bullion stitch, and then off to the side of that main flower, 2 additional little stitches. And then along the bottom here, just stitched in some of those little rocks, some of the little pink quartz stones and some little pearls, just to give that ground a bit of feature. That piece of lace in behind that looks like fencing, that was already there. So that, I think, filled that little spot nicely. I hope I don't regret it, and that's a spot that a prompt could go on. I hope that's not the case. I still have a few little spaces left. So there's the fence, nothing really happened there. I am now starting to work on the background a bit too. So doing some camphor stitch. And I did in here a heap of camphor stitch just to really mesh the backgrounds down together. So there's a little bit of that work to do. The pots you've seen in the video for the actual prompt of the garden shed. And there's just a few little extra flowers I just popped on that bottom. I had some thread left over, so I just found a spot to do some little flowers and just added some more little flowers over here to embellish this piece of satin. Then I started working some seed stitch. And you see the gold piece up here that was added? I'm just working seed stitch in there. I'm trying to, I don't know if you need it in the shadows better. Yeah, the shadows actually better. I'm trying not to fill the whole space. I'm a bit of everything in seed stitch girl. I'm trying to just back it off a little bit and follow the flow of the piece, and it's harder than you think. I've tried it before and I've sort of given up and just seed stitched everything. But this one I think I actually pulled it off. So just a hint of seed stitch in around it. Little bit in here. Then I started working in this purple zone and I did a little butterfly mothy thing, inspiration from our Foolproof embroidery stitched book. I ran some, there's a thread there that's popping up. I ran some overcast stitch, tried to keep it really rustic, not too uniformed. So there's overcast stitch around the purple piece. And then just to help with the background, I started doing stacked seed stitch. There's a word for you, stacked seed stitch. That is not a stitch. That is not, I've just created that right then. But it sort of describes it. It's where you literally try and keep your seed stitch in a row and just keep stacking them on top of each other. So I sort of like the little background that created. So that's what I did in the purple. Then I'm back over here with this swoosh of gold and some seed stitch in through there. What else did I do? I think that's about it. Yeah, it is. You saw me put down that blue organza in preparation for the next prompt. So I think, and I'm feeling a lot better about the piece. It's just got a little bit more interest to it. I could still do so much more, like this space through here needs something. So whether there's some prompts that'll help me there, or I've got to come up with something. This here needs something. I feel like it needs another layer put on there. I'm sort of seeing that pink lace a little bit too much. It needs to be softened. So pretty happy with the way it's coming along. There's definitely space here. There's a lot of space through here. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I do want to do more. See how I put this gold piece in here and then I created my own embroidery from there. That was the wildflowers prompt. I'd like to do a little bit of that further along, where I've got something man-made, so to speak, and then embellished by myself. And things like this piece here is perfect for that. So from that base, I come out with something. So that's still in the back of my mind, and I can even do a little bit on these guys, following the theme through the piece. So that's where that piece is. Now, yesterday's video was finishing off the, where's my spool gone? Finishing off the hanging basket, so that's up to date. So really, I'm pretty up to date now with the prompts, ready for the next one. Of course, we will know what it is and be busy getting ready to stitch whatever that may be onto our pieces. Now, tomorrow being Friday the 3rd of March, you will see the start of a new project. It's a project that Susanna and I started, honestly, I think, I'm going to say October last year, but it may even have been, I don't know. It was definitely last year. It was pre-Christmas, and I made 5 videos, and then I popped it in a box, and I really, really need to get it out. The project is Henrik. Now, there'll be more details tomorrow, but it's all about making a huge rabbit and slow stitching him for Easter. So we've decided to start those videos one a week on a Friday. Henrik kicking off this Friday, so tomorrow. So something a little bit different, and I've got 5 videos pre-made. Now those 5 videos, if I remember rightly, I'm just looking in my little diary here, they will bring me up to March 31. Now, I believe I get back from my cruise on the 27th. So I really need to get into Henrik, Corrine. You really need to get Henrik out of his box and get some videos made. I probably only need 2 more videos and that would finish him. So then at least when I get back from my cruise, the 7th, see, we were going to do him leading right into April, but that's not going to happen. We're going to bring Henrik in as of tomorrow, so that every Friday, if you did want to join us, you can. Now, his pattern details are in the video. The only thing I will say is you need to go to the website where Henrik is for sale. Don't buy it from anywhere else, because someone has taken the pattern concept, popped it up on a dodgy site and is selling it. And of course you pay your money and no pattern comes to you in email. I just wanted to talk about that while I'm stitching this rose, because I don't know if I stress that enough in tomorrow's video, because it was literally, those videos, like I said, were made last year, and I think it was in February I was watching the Henrik Facebook page, and all this kerfuffle started about this dodgy site that had stolen the images. I think that actually happened to Rachel too with her Sydney pouch. Someone just takes the photo from your website, creates a fake Facebook site where you can buy the pattern. Of course, you buy the pattern and nothing comes to you. So as dodgy as it comes, terrible. And I think that blew up in February. And I was like, oh gosh, I hope I've stressed enough in tomorrow's video that you need to go to the actual website that the video, the pattern is on. All the details are in there tomorrow. It's the only way to buy it. Anyway, hopefully there's enough information there for you. But it's super, super fun. I want to get you a little sneaky look at it. It is so me. So I think you'll love him as much as I do. Now we buy, hang on one moment. Susanna and I come across the French General fabric last year when it was released, and we enabled each other. There's Henrik. That's the pattern that you'll get. I'm really jumping ahead here. We're making this huge rabbit. I so need to get myself into gear and get him finished. I've got him all his bits, and now it's time to stuff him, stitch him together and embellish him. So yeah, we purchased the French General piece of fabric, which I'll show you tomorrow. But what I'm supposed to have done is pre-stitch them. I've done a little bit. Here's one pre-stitched, because what I want to do with my Henrik is make him more slow stitch. So the plan was, see, there's some good needles. See, this is why I run out of needles. These are the pieces from this panel. Actually, you would have seen the panel in Rachel's video. When she came back from Australia, she had the panel with her. It's just gorgeous. It has quite a few designs on it. So I've cut out some elements, popped them on some calico, and I've just been enhancing them or stitching on them. So that's, gosh, I haven't looked at this since October. And then I've got some lace in there that I plan to use. And the actual fabric, oh, look how sidetracked I'm getting. Let me bring the box up, then I don't have to make too much mess. That's the colour palette. So if you like my red work journal, you like French General fabric, that is the fabrics. Look at that. That would go really well on my, oh, I need to get in here and pull some out for this panel. So that is the piece of fabric pack. Oh, yeah, I need to keep this out. This has got to be worked into my French garden. Yeah, beautiful. Let's pull this piece out. That's a scrap. Let's count it as a scrap. And that piece. So, just as a sneaky look, here's an ear. Isn't it gorgeous? I love him. I love him. I just need to go back and pull him out and get him finished. Otherwise, I'm going to come back from my little holiday and feel the pressure of getting this Henrik together in a matter of days, another video. So that's my plan, being that it's only Monday for me. And I feel like I've got the week ahead while we wait for the next prompt. I'm going to pull Henrik out and just get him finished. Let's put that in there. Get him finished. And video's done so that you guys can see him, isn't he? Oh, I just love it. These are my favorite colors. They really are. Anyway, sidetracked. So that's the story. That's the plan for the next few days. Let me just turn my phone off. You can see that it's buzzing away. Alrighty, so what did I do last night? I started working on the rose. Let me just get that out of the way. So what I decided to do is, we've put so much energy into the main rose, I decided that the top 3 roses would just be a salute to embroidery the way we used to do it, doilies, because that's the old doily. So all I'm doing is following the outline. It's really simple stitching, but I'm really enjoying it because it's, yeah, being true to the old-fashioned, I don't know, we used to call it fancy work when I was a kid. Get your fancy work out. So I thought I'd better stop before I stitched the whole thing. I used to do so many doilies. I've got a few still. There'd be some more up at the farm in the cupboards, I'm sure, but the few I do have, very simple work. But, and I didn't really have access to the colours that I do now. And if I did, I followed the pattern. It was very much, don't change the pattern, just lack of bravery, I guess, when you're young and you're learning. Oh, I wish I could go back in time and have the youth, but today's brain, oh my goodness. Wouldn't that be just the best? Have the youth. I'd go straight back to probably grade 11. First year as senior in Australia is grade 11. No, I'd go back to grade 8. It was all good. Where would I go? Grade 7 was pretty good. No, we'll start at grade 8. And if I had today's brain and learnings, oh, I'd be running that school. I'd definitely be starting a small business, put it that way. I'd be selling something. I'd be stitching and just, oh, that'd be 50 years. I'm coming up to 51 in May. That'd be 50 years of experience in the mind of a grade 8. Could you imagine? By the time I got to grade 11 and 12, I'd definitely have numerous small businesses going. Oh dear. Okay, that was the last of that red. Now what I want to do is, the pattern maker has this strokes in there. Now what will we do for colour? I think we'll stay within the embroidery cotton. Do we go lighter? Are we even going to see that? Yeah. Or do we go cream? No. Do we go wool? What about some crochet cotton in the pink? Don't know if this is thick enough to even cover the grey stitch, and I think it's too pale. What will we use? I think we need to go back to the, there's another needle. You know, the other day I said I felt like I was low on needles, but I didn't seem to have felt like I'd lost any in see, there's another one. That's the, there, see, oh goodness me. Okay, I've just found 3 needles. I knew something was not right. Maybe we go quite a strong red. See, that will blend too much. I stumped? Maybe. Let's have a look in our box. Gosh, what a mess. I'm not achieving much, am I? I'm fiddling around. That's what I'm doing. No. All the reds and the tones for this French General are already pulled out. Oh, there's one. What's this one? Why is that different to anything I've already got? It's got more of a purple tone. See, it looks so similar. I think I need a contrast. Maybe I go crazy with it and do this pink. I'm just going to try this pink. I know it's sort of feels like I'm breaking rules with it, but I think it can handle it. Anything pale mightn't look right. But I feel like I need something a bit strong, if that makes sense. I've got my work sideways again. It's just easier for me to grab my hand in this side and squinch myself into this position. So let's just follow the marks the designer gave us, true to the design. What I could do is come back through with cream thread. No, if I do that, then it'll potentially subdue the pink and it'll look like there's stitches missing because it's on a cream background. So I don't think that's a good idea. I'll just get this bud done, and if I'm happy with it, I can carry on with the rose off camera, because otherwise that will be boring viewing, and I've already wasted 22 minutes yibba yabbering. But I thought it was a perfect opportunity to sort of have a quick chat about Henrik. So if anyone wants to join in on the project, you'll get more information tomorrow. It's really not about Henrik today. It's about stitching this rose, but it's just a bit of a heads up. There is a Facebook site. There's a couple videos the designer made on YouTube, but I spoke to her and at great lengths, and she said that it's not her forte, and she was so excited that Susanna and I were having a play with the pattern because it would then put Henrik out there in a more formal setting of YouTube. Now, since our project started back the end of last year, she's released a cat, and he's popping up all over the place, and oh, he's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I won't be doing the cat at this stage. I'm just going to focus on the rabbit, and she has a pattern for a fox as well. So if you see all those patterns for sale, you know you're in the right spot. I'm sure you've seen him around, like he's been around for a couple of years. The pattern was only just happened to come across him, and we found the fabric panel first, and I showed it to Susanna, and I was like, oh, we so need to do something with it. So we brainstormed quite a few projects. You know, I considered doing a bag with it, some cushions, all sorts of things. And then this Henrik popped up on my radar, and I said to Susanna, we could make a rabbit out of him and use elements from the panel. Like, we haven't used all the panel. There's so much of it left, so it's fantastic. And being it's French, it was just there's my rose. I like that. I do like it. Being that it's French, it was like, yep, a French rabbit. I think he's a hare, actually. He's got really big feet. So I've got a little bit of this thread left. I might just do this little bud down here with a couple stitches. Then I know what I'm doing on the rose. I only need 3 stitches. I'm so pleased this rose will be finished up here. The other area I want to do a little bit of work is the perimeter on the side over here. So I might put a few patches down because then I can stitch them down as well. Some camphor, all of this type of work. Camphor stitch or borrow stitch. All right. Okay, so that is sorted. So I'm going to put my little cotton in here. So I've got it with me. I don't need that purple. You can go away. Now, I've got this little element sitting here. It's been rolling around all week, so I'm going to find a home for it. Where could we put this little guy? Yeah, just going to pin him on. We've got a lot of those types of pieces down lower in the garden. So I just want to bring a few doily elements up the top here. Where's the rest of my doilies? Here they are. I just feel like we could do with a couple more itty bitty bits just to start blending it all and making it feel more interesting. Just popped him up that top corner. Yeah, that's good. So I'll just invisible stitch those down. Now I do have a stem here and a stem there that's not stitched. Just noticed. So I think I used, what do I use? That's a wool. Where's my dark? No. Just looking for the dark green. That would probably do, actually. There's a couple different greens on my stems, and I think I'll just finish the top with this one. So we've got a little one there that needs to be stitched in. And then a little one there. So let's catch this guy. I'm just going to do back stitch. So pleased the rose is finished. Feels like forever since I was working on it. got a real rose theme about it, hasn't it? Those cross-stitch roses and embroidered roses. I think for my fill-in video work, you know, once I've finished an actual prompt on this piece and I'm sort of just filling in, waiting for the next prompt, I'll be over on the house on the opposite side, and I want to finish the border on this side. So that's all done. And I'm still yet to do some embroidery on this piece of fabric here, this big rose and all these flowers. There's hours of work on that. But, you know, a little bit each time, it seems to come together. I feel like that is just going to blend with those leaves. Don't think I want to use that green. Oh, I must show you this. I picked this up at Spotlight for Aussie girls. Isn't that just divine? I grabbed it out and thought, oh, I'll put that on. Might use this thread. I thought I'd put it on, you know, this piece, but it's that's the thread. It's too green. It's like a limey green, and it just didn't look right. But it's beautiful. That's going to be so handy as just a piece in my cupboard. Don't ask me how much it was. It wasn't cheap. But there was a sale on where you buy one, I buy two and you get your third free. So whenever I see that one, I sort of walk through the trims and the laces and see what I can find. But they're so low in stock. Oh, what's going on out there? COVID's long gone. That was an excuse for a while there, but I don't know. Ow. I need to change that pin to a downward pin, because otherwise I'm going to get hurt. Now, what I'm going to do in this little stem is just good old-fashioned long and short stitch. And just creep my way up. And then what I might do, just for so you can see the rose finished in this video, I'll do this stem and then I'm going to stop the video. I'm going to finish stitching in there. And then start the video again, and we'll work on the side. That way you sort of get to see the rose completed. Okay, get this little stem happening. It's just a series of strokes of the needle. Being it's wool, it fills up quite quickly, which is good. I was saying to Susanna from Vintage Blend Studios that I just can't get into Henrik again. He feels like he was a million years ago, and I'm so absorbed in all these pieces. And a little bit time poor at the moment that Henrik is just like this, he's bearing down on me, if that makes sense. You know, when you got that project in the cupboard and you're just like, oh, I really need to get back to it, but you just can't. So I was determined to pull him out this morning, have a bit of a flip through the box of goodies and get myself inspired, which I have. I'm really pleased I just did that with you guys, because I feel like he's now top of mind and I can see where I'm at. So the stuffing to go in him is in a huge bag actually under my table. It's been there since, I'm sure it was October. I might be wrong. I'm sure it was October when we started mucking around with Henrik. And then this came along, and there was so much work in the Roxy Christmas Journal of Stitchery project we were all doing. So I was sort of like busy. So I just want to get him going again. And I think I'm inspired. I'm going to leave a bit of space between the leaves under that rose bud. And see, there's just that little bit of air there, just so that it's not all blended together. So that's that done. So I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to actually finish the rose, this guy, and I will come back and then we'll carry on with something else on it. So I will be back in a minute. Hi guys, I'm back. I'm still mucking around with this rose, and I decided to add this little piece of tatting in here to make it look like a three-dimensional petal. So my plan to keep it simple and be true to the embroidery piece, well, that didn't happen. I was stitching away and I thought, oh, I just need something a little more in there. So this little piece of tatting has found its way. So it's from our piece that we've been working on, using throughout, and I just took the top bit off of that, the peak. See the peak there? I just took that off, and I'm just stitching it into this rose as a bit of a feature. I need to trim it down a little bit. I ended up using a second pink thread too, and I blended some of that pink, the pale mushroom pink, into the original hot pink, and then I've just done some mushroom pink by itself as well. When I get this stitched, I'll show you what I mean. I've got one more section to do up here, so I'm just trying to decide, do I bring another piece of tatting in, which I'm thinking I will. So it's just to make that flower feel a little bit more interesting. It was a bit too plain. Nice and plain for maybe a young girl learning to embroider with her grandmother sitting beside her. Now it's a little boring. So I just want to, I'm going to zoom in so you can get a really good look at that. See, that's what I've done. I just want to trim that back. I thought I'll wait until I stitch it down so that I can see that little curve there. And I want to trim this back, just so it feels like it fits a little more within the flower. That's better. And you can see where I've brought in the mushroom pink into here. Then I've come back through and just popped a few little stitches of the mushroom pink on the bud and that. And it's just sort of, I don't know, just makes it seem a little bit more interesting. Now the question is, do I put some tatting through there as well? Don't know if I've got the right piece for it. I might just cut this guy out and maybe it might work. It's only a little morsel, but that's okay. Only need just a little bit. Yeah, that'll work. the other thing I did while I was off camera is I stitched this guy down, and the other two that these two, those there, they're all stitched down. And then I sort of started tidying up my desk a little bit because I want to stretch the piece out to do some side stitching on the, you know, some patches of fabric. And I kept coming across all these morsels, and I'm like, oh, that could go on, that could go on. And I just went down this tangent of this tatting down the rabbit hole. I'm happy with that. It feels like it's in keeping now with the main rows. Just to have those little morsels of lace in amongst the stitching just makes it more interesting. A bit more collagey. There we go. Now I'm just going to pinch that back if I can, just to expose the red outline of that petal there, just so it feels like it's more in the shape we need. That's better. Sort of trying to get it to fit within. I can get a stitch in there. Yeah, that's better. So just a little morsels. Okay, I'm really happy with that. That rose looks quite interesting now, and I think it is complete. I did, yeah, there we go. The rose is complete. That's stitched, that's stitched. When I was tidying up, I found this little guy, so I'm just going to stitch him on. Just a little floweret from the edge of a doily. Where did I throw that doily? You know, when you tidy up, you're like, ooh, haven't used that for a few days. This one here, it's got like little rosettes around the edge of it. So I've already pinched a few off for something. I think it is this piece, but I can't remember. So I'm just going to stitch this into position. It'll just soften some of these rectangles that are everywhere. Start adding layers and layers to your piece. You think you're finished in a spot, but you always seem to, well I do, always seem to go back and add more morsels. So it's like you'd put a wash of doily over the piece, and it just takes a whole new dimension. So my little crocheted flower is a little bit puckered up in that center, so I'll just get the perimeter stitch down. That's it. A couple more stitches over here. I'm going to blend it across to the rose so that it looks like the rose is coming out from behind that piece. Sort of start melting it all together. Now turn that little petal out and just pop a stitch in to hold it. That's better. Now turn this little petal out. This little guy. Just one of those little details that when you look into the piece, you'll be seeing all these little little pieces. Now this is a huge panel, so you'd probably think, well, why do I need such detail? It's the little details that really take these pieces to the next level. And this little flower, when it was cut from the doily, had quite a flat bottom to it. So it's worked in quite well, sitting it on that linear line that's there. Okay, so that is that done. Now what I want to do is have a play with some pieces of fabric. Let me reposition, move that out of the way, zoom back up. So we need some more patches. So let's just stretch ourselves out a little bit. We've got a bit of space here, working our way down this perimeter. Let's get us in field of view without knocking the camera. It's tricky when you're working on a big piece. Now I might just come up a little bit more so you can get more of a full view. And we've got some fabricy bits here that I grabbed out of our pile. So I just want to, thinking about bringing a bit of this in. Where's my scissors? This is used on the other side of the piece where I cut out all the flowers. So I just want to put a patch of it over here. So it's sort of popping up in a few locations. So I'm just going to start doing some random pinning. And I will either stitch around it or I will stitch camphor style stitch, you know, lots of running stitch like that, or I'll just do a patch. So I just want to, I definitely want to use some of this. I probably will regret it if I'm doing that rabbit and I run out of fabric. I'll be like, where is all that gone? Oh, it's so pretty. I'm going to sneak a little piece out. Yeah. There's no rhyme or reason to this. It is just wherever. Excuse me. It's like, that's upside down. What I'm trying to achieve look-wise is a piece of old cloth that's been patched. And I've left the calico coming out from the beautiful piece of linen. So it just gives that extra dimension to the piece. So we're sort of getting that, I've been repaired a few times. I might do an actual piece. Being that I've got a checkered line, I might as well take advantage of the fact that I can use it as an edge and cut on the lines. Why not? Nothing like a check to help you with straight line cutting. So I'm just going to fold that with my fingers, get a little crease in it. And then which is the right side, which is the, I think that's inside out. That's better. up a bit, merge it into the two. I think it's too long to, I'm going to cut it there. Just needs to be a bit less, I think. Might just make it a little bit bigger to the front. Like so. And maybe this piece, so it's not so overpowered, will be there, like so. I think that's how I like it. And then I'll do running stitch through that so that it's got the white lines going through. The flower I'll probably just stitch around. I don't think I'll go over it because I want to see the floral. Yeah, I like that. And then I might come back through with some doily and just soften those edges when we're ready. There'll be heaps we can do there with doily just to build upon that, but not at this stage. I just want to get these block pieces down. So the edge of the linen, I'm just doing an overcast stitch where it pops out. Let's get some more up. It's a bit puckery around this edge. The linen is a little bit lifted, so I need to deal with that. I think once it's stitched down it will certainly help, but I might bring in some more check fabric and start just patching some pieces through this way. Yep, I like that. Let's just pin it for now. I may even need to cut that and take some of the bulk out to get it to flatten. Yeah, that's a bit better. Take a little dart out of it, just so that it's going to sit. A bit of that bulk, and then I can put some fabric over it, under it, around it, and it's not going to be puckered. Get a little piece of this red fabric coming up. I'll have to fiddle with that a little bit once I start stitching it down. Okay, I need something through there. Do I cut another piece of this? I wonder if I can square this up. Talk about using your scraps just as a little feature. Okay, so it's been repaired, this poor old piece of linen. It really has been patched. I got this out of that Henrik box too. Sort of feel like that might be an interesting piece. Just take a little nibble off and see if we can patch this in somewhere. It's just layers upon layers. Sort of don't mind it there, joining those pieces together. Or do I turn it? Yeah, that's better. Do some stitching there, or I find a piece of lace. Wonder what morsel we could put in there, or I just leave it, just a bit of air. That's good. So now we're on our way down. I wouldn't mind bringing in some of this brown that I put at the top here, if I can find. Here it is. Just to marry the, drift that fabric down. Do I do it over like I did up the top? Yeah, I might do. Let's just see what that looks like. Finger crease that. Pop it in there. And bring it up into there. I like that. That's interesting. And then if I just run my overcast stitch right through here, right down, that'll absorb all of that bulk. That'll stretch out nicely. Won't intrude too much on the plants. I feel like something could come in here. What have we got here? A bit of lace. Oh, I like that. That's random. Oh. I do like that. That swish of lace through. Do I turn it around? Yeah, that's how we do it. If I turn that around and have it sneaking in there, I don't mind that. Do I just use a little piece and cut it there? And it connects that to there. Yeah, I sort of like that. I don't think it needs to be too long. I'm just going to nibble this bit out. It just needs a little tidy up there so it doesn't look like it's just rough cut out. And I'm going to try and drift. I'm going to connect into here, catch that side, Try and get it to just meet that red. If it means I have to bring the red down a little bit, but I think I can connect the two. Put that there, that pin goes there, that goes there. That goes there. It'll catch it in, and then this leans out and catches this doily. It feels like it's connecting the lace through. All right, can I pop some of this elsewhere just to continue the story? Just going to trim that there a little. It's a bit of an odd end. Let's have a look up into here. No. Oh, you can't even see what I'm doing. I'm just going up the work again, looking at where I can blend in some more of that little piece, just to sort of carry my story a little bit. I do like it up there. That cluster is starting to build. I'm just going to trim. I'll get the background fabrics all stitched in first and just have this little morsel with me, because until I see what happens here, it might be enough without it, but I like it there. Let's just pin it. I can always reject it if it doesn't look right once I get all that stitching done. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. I've got enough to go on with. Got some embellishments coming down that side. It's looking quite interesting. I sort of want the center to be really dense and really interesting, but the sides still have something, but not too overcrowded, because it's sort of, you're getting to the perimeter of the piece. That's sort of how I feel. If it gets too thick and dense out here on this edge, I just don't think it'll look right. It might overpower what's happening in the center. So you need these little bits of air, and I want it really patchy, like it's just this really old piece of cloth, if that makes sense. But things like this lace can drift out, like this piece is over here and it pops up again here, then it's down here, so it's sort of weaving through the whole piece. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay, lovely. All right, guys, I'm going to leave you in peace now and carry on with some stitching. That'll keep me busy, and I really need to pull Henrik out and spend the rest of this week working on him so that his videos will all fall into position after I get back from my holiday, and I won't feel the pressure of that rabbit when I return. All right, guys, look after yourselves, and I'll see you all in the next video, which will probably be Saturday, and we will have our prompt and we'll be off and away again. All right, guys, bye for now.